following is a presentation of the Big Blue Sports Network.
For a while, it was smooth sailing for the Cats. Blowout wins over Indiana, Appalachian State, and Tennessee State. But you know, there's always something unexpected that comes up during the holidays. The Cats found themselves in a dogfight with Florida Atlantic before Perry Stevenson and Landon Sloan became unlikely heroes. Now, with the Cards of Louisville lurking on the horizon, Billy Gillispie's club looks to ring in the new year with a win over Central Michigan.
From Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky, it's the University of Kentucky Wildcat basketball. Tonight, it's the Kentucky Wildcats versus the Central Michigan Chippewas. Tonight's game is being brought to you by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance, big on commitment. By Coke. By Papa John's Pizza, better ingredients, better pizza. By the Whitaker Bank Corporation, uniquely Kentucky. And by Ford. Visit your Kentucky and a Ford dealer today. Ford, drive one.
Rupp Arena sold out again tonight as the Cats take the court for the final time in the calendar year 2008. And they end the non-conference portion of their schedule, save one game coming up on Sunday. But tonight, it's the Chippewas of Central Michigan. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dave Baker alongside the Wildcat All-American Kyle Macy. Kyle, a Gaines Florida Atlantic team came in here on Saturday, caused this Kentucky basketball team some problems. What do they have to do to not get off to that kind of start tonight?
Well, I think you have to give, first off, some credit to Florida Atlantic. I thought they played very well. They got Carlos Monroe, their center, back in the lineup, and it's really helped you because their outside players played well, shot the ball well, and then opened the inside. So I think you kind of forget about that game, take the fact that you won the game and move on. But this is a good Central Michigan team, a little different because they've lost a couple players to injury themselves, but they'll be a little bit more extending on the defense to kind of pressure the ball, which Kentucky needs some work on getting ready for the game next Sunday.
A couple of unlikely heroes in Perry Stevenson and Landon Sloan on Saturday. We expect to see more of them tonight, and yes, a first-time starter coming up in this Kentucky lineup. Those starting lineups, the opening tip, and much more is coming right up when we come back to Rupp Arena in Lexington as the Cats get set to take on the Chippewas. And welcome back into Rupp Arena in downtown Lexington as the 10-3 Kentucky Wildcats look for their 8th home victory in 10 tries as they take on the 3-8 Central Michigan Chippewas, a club that has only won once in 5 times on the road. Let's take a look now at our starting lineups. They're sponsored by your local Dodge dealer. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life. And for the Central Michigan Chippewas and their head coach Ernie Ziegler, Kyle, a team that is not big on height because of those preseason injuries, but they will get after you defensively.
They really will. And as you hear they're saying sometimes, a guy plays bigger than his size. And Hardiman, number 34, and Marcus Vann both do that. Marcus Vann has really picked up the slack when they lost their 4 and their 5 to start the season.
And for the Kentucky Wildcats of Coach Billy Gillispie, we see another change in the starting lineup, and right there on the left, the freshman, number 34, DeAndre Liggins, making his first start as a Wildcat.
Well, you look for Kentucky, like I said, to push the ball up the floor. I think Liggins can bring some of that. Then Porter been playing much better. A lot of assists, very few turnovers the last 4 games. And Jody Meeks and Patrick Patterson obviously on fire.
Meeks, the SEC Player of the Week 1 week ago. Earlier today, Patrick Patterson named this week's Southeastern Conference Player of the Week. Can the dynamic duo lead the Cats to another victory? Central Michigan will put this club to the test. It's the Chips and the Cats. We've got the opening tip when we come right back to Lexington right after this. Rupp Arena in downtown Lexington, packed on this Monday night. A lot of folks enjoying a long break from work or back home visiting family and friends. From all of us here at the Big Blue Sports Network, our best wishes to you and yours for a happy and prosperous 2009. And that's what the Wildcats are hoping for. But in order to do that, they need to set the table with as the big finish to 2008. And that's what they're hoping to have tonight as they take on the Chippewas of Central Michigan. And Kyle, you see the big differential in points per game, but you see that both clubs play really tight defense.
Very good defensively teams, both of them, as you said. Scoring margin, though, because Central Michigan doesn't score a lot of points, they do have a -6 in the scoring margin between teams. Kentucky obviously gives a lot more assists, 10 to 18.
And the third member of our broadcast crew standing by now is Rob Bromley. Robert, good evening.
Good evening, Dave. And I understand that Central Michigan coach Ernie Ziegler likes to run a lot of plays, do a lot of ball screening, and they've had some time to prepare for this basketball game. I think 6 days since they last played, so they've had a little extra time to put some things in. Dave, back to you.
Thanks, Rob. 6 days on the road, and they're going to make it home tonight.
You know, good one.
Thank you.
You know, it is kind of an interesting schedule. They play Kentucky. They have an exhibition game on the 5th and then start conference play on the 11th, so almost 18 days with only one game during that stretch. So it's a pretty good time to regroup and get guys in practice. So you'd like to see players get healthy, I'm sure, for Central Michigan and get ready for their conference play in the MAC.
And they've had to regroup. And Ernie Ziegler, 73 games at head coach at Central Michigan, Kyle. He's had to use 38 different lineup combinations as you take a look at Ernie Ziegler, and that is trying to put the parts in all the right places.
But they are very happy with what he's been doing. They did give him a one-year extension after last season.
Carl Hess threw it up, and the Cats control on the opening tip. And you see immediately Central Michigan extending the man-to-man. There's Liggins in his first start, and he goes right inside and gets it to Patterson. Great start for the freshman.
Yeah, a real good pass because Patrick Patterson was being fronted as well as giving some help on the backside, still managed to catch the ball and finish.
Liggins now applying the pressure out front to Robbie Harmon, 6'1" junior guard. And now here's Allen. Hardiman dumps it off, and Van shoots it over the rim. Meeks on the curl. That was a contested shot, and that's one he doesn't want to take.
Yeah, no need to take that one. You see Landon Sloan getting off the bench, heading to the scorers. They'll be checking in, but you can get that shot late in the shot clock. It wasn't wide open, so really they would not like him to take that shot.
Billy Gillespie looks like he's going to go to the bench early on, and Jacoby Hardiman with an ice up and under ties this one at 2.
Now, Hardiman's one of those players, even though he's only listed at 6'5", he plays much longer, very athletic. Central Michigan jumping into a 1-2-2 zone here against the Cats.
Something that they do not do often. Shot clock down to 10. And Porter has it stripped away. And the Chippewas in transition. Marcus Van. Bad play at both ends of the court for the Cats.
He missed the first 5 games of the season, but since he's come back those next 6 games, he started 4 and has really picked it up, averaging almost 15 points and close to double-figure rebounds.
Darius Miller off the UK bench as well, so we would in all likelihood see Porter and Meeks head to the bench.
The Wildcats a little slow in transition. The ball is loose on the floor, kind of a scrum there to get it. Somehow Central Michigan handles it, and Kentucky slow getting back, leads to a wide open dunk.
Check that. It must have been Liggins who didn't get back in transition as he goes to the bench with Meeks. Number 10, Landon Sloan, the freshman from Paintsville, and Darius Miller, number 1, a freshman from Maysville in there for the Cats. Porter with a nice penetration. And he can't get it to go. And Sloan is fouled after grabbing the rebound.
Michael Porter did everything he was supposed to except for finish the play. Just kept penetrating. No one picked him up, took it all the way, and the left hand just went off the front of the rim. But a good read.
He is such a steadying influence for this Kentucky team, Kyle, but he has got to find an ability to produce a little offense on his own.
Yeah, you have to wonder sometimes if maybe he's thinking a little too much about getting everyone else involved, not really concentrating that much when he does shoot the ball.
Miller, nice fake, can't get it to go, and Patterson chases down the rebound. Great hustle by the sophomore.
Kentucky working the perimeter, but you'd rather see them try to jump into some gaps, cut some players through, get some good ball movement.
Stevenson can't get the turnaround to go on the baseline, and Kentucky just one of its